Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Calypso Cigar Shop and Lounge podcast. The podcast that hopes to entertain, inform, and inspire you to try some new cigars. My name is Brandon Luna, and I'll be your host, along with Randy Rankin. Randy, how you doing today?
Doing good, Brandon. How about yourself?
I am doing fantastic. So today, it's going to be the first ever podcast, and we're actually going to smoke a new cigar, brand new, out there on the market, and brand new to the Calypso Cigar Lounge, the Alec Bradley Black Market Filthy Hooligan. Now, there is a little controversy about the name with that, so we're coming into this with a little controversy, but it's just minute. Originally, it was called the Dirty Hooligan, you know that, right?
Right.
And they got in a little scuffle with Drew Estate on the name because apparently they're, Drew Estate's kind of renowned for a lot of their Unico lines. Unico, there's a word for that.
They do have a Unico line.
And the Dirty Rat was one of theirs. And so I guess my thought on that is, this is what I imagine in my head, is that Jonathan Drew called up Alan Rubin in the middle of the night, fever pitch, sweat coming down his thing. He's like, dude, what are you doing? Dirty Hooligan, you're screwing it up, man. You got to change it. It's got to change. And Alan's like, no, man, that's what I came up with, dude. You just got to deal with it. And,
And then a professional agreement was
reached. So that's kind of what I figure happened. But I know nothing like that happened. But, because that's one of the great things about the cigar industry is that, they handle stuff like men. Mm-hmm. It's probably a phone call, hey, dude, out of respect, what do you think? Right. And then, boom, they change the name, and that's awesome. There's no lawyers, nothing. It's just, that's the way they do business.
Well, I wasn't aware of the story when I first heard the name.
Yeah.
But it's a Drew Estate name. I said that to Matt. I said, well, can they get more Drew Estate with the name of this cigar?
Exactly.
And that was when it was just Filthy Hooligan. This was even before I'd known about the Dirty Hooligan.
Yeah.
So, definitely Drew Estate.
Alan's a good guy, and Drew's actually been through that, too. They had something that they had named that was that someone required them or asked them to change as well.
Right.
So I know there's some history there with that. But this is I'm kind of excited about this cigar because I'm a fan of the Black Market. I know you're kind of on the fence about it, but I like the Black Market because it's a really robust, kind of meaty cigar. It's got a lot of flavor to it. It's not very complex, but it's a good kick-around cigar, and I dig it. And this is basically, from what I understand, that with a different wrapper. It's got the Candela wrapper, so it's that funky green Hulk-looking thing. So I'm excited for two reasons. Number one, I like the Black Market. Number two, this is going to be my first Candela. Candela Virgin.
You've never had Candela ever?
Never had a Candela.
So that was okay.
That was
I
me.
was telling someone the other day. Okay. So
Candela Virgin.
That
yeah.
was Brandon. My opinion of the Black Market is that it's a nice smoke. I just am a fan of so many other Alec Bradley cigars that it doesn't blow me away.
We talked about it in the past.
Right.
I when I was first getting into cigars again. Now my history is I smoked cigars 18 years ago for a couple of years, and took a pretty long break. And just getting back into it this year. God, you gotta love the gigantic, ridiculous band on that.
Yes.
My thing getting back into it was I was into the Rocky Patels for a while, and then really got heavy into the Alec Bradleys. And my Bradley smoke was the Tempest. I love the Tempest. I smoked a box and a half of those easy. It's a great cigar. Great full flavor. Just awesome smoke. And I went to an Alec Bradley event, and the rep handed me one of these, and I hadn't had one. And I was, I had already put together my box.
The Black Market, you mean?
Yeah, the Black Market. Yeah, he handed me the Black Market, and I hadn't had one. And I had already, I was buying a box. I was buying like half a box of Tempest and half a box of some other things like the Family Blend or whatever.
Right.
And after I smoked this, I'm like, dude, can I change my box a little? Can I get some other stuff?
Right.
Some Black Markets? He's like, yeah, man, cool. So I dug them. I've smoked easily probably about 15 to 20 of these over the past couple months, and I'm a fan. Not this particular one, mind you, but.
Well, my experience with Candela is limited, certainly more so than you. I got a sample pack a few years ago, probably 5. And I had seen the green ones around, Macanudo. I knew that Macanudo had a green one. That's what I, called them. I didn't know what a Candela was.
Yeah.
And I saw that this Rocky sampler that I had a green cigar in it.
Oh, well.
And I showed some people and went, look, Rocky Patel is a green cigar.
Is that the Edge?
I think it was a special one just for the sampler. And I smoked it, and to be honest, other than the vintage that were in that sampler, I liked the Candela.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Did you
tried
get that?
I tried a couple of more, and not of the Rocky. I tried others. I tried Macanudos. I tried the Don Tomas, which is a lower end, but still a decent smoke. And I just lost the flavor. I think I just liked it that first time because it was an oddity.
Yeah.
And since then, I've yet to be blown away by any Candela. So I'm looking forward to this.
I am too. Did you get that the whole grassy hay thing that they talk about with the Candela?
Yeah, you do get that.
Yeah.
I didn't smoke that Viaje Candela that came out a few years ago.
I heard really good things about that.
I've heard good things, but someone whose opinion I really trust said it just didn't move the needle for him at all. So I never even tried it.
I've also heard really good things about the Illusione. There's a Illusione Candela that's supposed to be fantastic.
I've heard about that one as well too. The thing I'm hoping for out of this cigar is that I will like it enough to try more Candela because it's a beautiful cigar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great looking.
It's well balanced, as was the Viaje, as I'm sure the Illusione is. So I feel like I owe it to myself that if this is good to pursue other Candela and just expand my Candela horizons.
For sure. Talk a little bit about the way the cigar looks. You mentioned that it is a good-looking cigar. There's, it's minimal veins. Looks like it's very tightly wrapped and probably a little toothy, but not overly so. Looks like a double cap or a triple. Is that a triple cap or a double? I think it's a double.
No, it looks like double. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's double.
And it's got a kind of a grassy smell right off the bat to it. I don't really get the hay, but it smells like straight up tobacco on the foot of it. So, yeah, I'm ready to light it up. You want to cut it up and light it up?
Let's let her go. Get her up. Let's get her going.
Get her ripped.
Yeah.
Go a little bit into the details about this cigar too, right when we're getting this started up here. Candela wrapped version of the Alec Bradley Black Market, named the Filthy Hooligan, comes in one size, a 6x50 Toro, so it is a limited edition cigar with only 2,000 boxes made. So this is going to be one of those grab all you can things.
Exactly.
It's got a good blend of, composed of a filler blended from Honduras, Nicaraguan, and Panama tobaccos with 2 binder leaves, 1 Honduran, the other Nicaraguan.
Well, if you notice, the green really does char pretty easily.
It does.
Initial taste, definitely grassy. I definitely pick up some grass right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Great draw. Great draw.
Really good draw.
Very nice draw. And it actually, while it does have I think it's the smoke that I'm tasting, the grassiness on that. The wrapper itself kind of has a decent, like a touch of sweetness to it.
There is, actually a little bit of a sweetness on the wrapper. Yeah. Through the nose, it's really clean. Real easy retrohale on this, which I was kind of surprised about because the Black Market has a little more spice to it, I think, the regular standard Black Market. And through the nose, it's kind of gets you right off the bat. It's a little, peppery.
I was getting a funny aftertaste for a second. Are you picking that up at all?
It's a little acrid, a little acidic. Yeah. But I mean, you just got these, right? So these are.
They've been in the humidor for a couple days.
So these are kind of, I would categorize these as rot, which is right off the truck. Typically, I personally like to give my cigars a good, month or so in the humidor before I really tackle them, unless they're stored properly in a B&M like this. You guys, I know I've seen Matt. Matt's the owner, by the way, of Calypso Cigar Lounge.
We'll be referring to him quite often.
Quite often, yeah. He's
and he'll join us for future podcasts.
And he's been kind enough to let us do this here and also provide the cigars. So awesome, Matt. Thank you. And I know Matt's one of these guys that's all about quality and making sure that the customer gets the best experience. So I've even seen him get cigars in and hold them back and make sure they get acclimated before they go out. Where a lot of guys don't do that. You go to these B&Ms and it's like, you grab a cigar and it's wet. And
I've experienced people walk in and buy a box right off the truck.
Yeah.
And
it's just you're setting yourself up for a bad experience that
you
way.
Are.
You really do need to settle.
You're doing yourself a disservice. I mean, obviously you're doing the customer a disservice, but you're doing yourself and you're doing the cigar manufacturer a disservice because you're not treating the cigar in the proper fashion in which it needs to be treated. So how's your burn so far? Because mine is not burning right.
My burn looks good because I charred the crap out of it.
Okay. I tried to be gentle in it.
Yeah, you got a little canoe going there, but it might right itself. We'll let it ride it out and see what's wet after the first third. Yeah. This is a lot milder than I was expecting.
That's what I've experienced with Candela, and I'm wondering if that's why I liked that Rocky at the beginning because it was in the beginning of my smoking. And I liked lighter cigars, so yeah. This
doesn't have the kick-assery that the normal Black Market does as far as that palate stomp of tobacco and spice. But it's definitely still got a little bit of that in the background. I get a little bit on the back of my throat. I'm getting a little spice in the back of my throat and a little bit of that leather and earth. But overall, it's definitely a lot milder. But it's pleasant. I mean, I was expecting, straight up hay and grass and just kind of whack, and it's not that at all.
The wrapper, I think, is kind of, I don't know, that it complements the binder and filler.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. We're still early. This is just early.
Yeah, this is the first third.
This is just early observations.
I dig the addition to the band. It's got that little. Did you notice that?
The little shamrock.
Shamrock on the band there. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and we might want to mention to people that haven't figured it out by now, this is obviously a release by Alec Bradley to coincide with St. Patrick's Day.
Exactly.
And I don't know, one of these with some green beer might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, I think this would actually work really well with some good beer. Mm-hmm. I tend to like a little more stout beers with my cigars. I like Guinness and Shiner Bock and stuff like that. The darker beers.
Right.
But yeah, this would be a good beer cigar for sure.
Yeah.
We are not pairing this with anything right now. We're just smoking it straight.
I think that's only fair with the first time you have
Yeah,
a cigar.
definitely. And I personally, my idea on reviews is I kind of hate doing a review of a cigar I've never smoked before. I think it's kind of unfair because a lot of times you're going to get a different experience after you smoked a couple of them.
Right.
As you get to know the cigar and really kind of pick up on the flavors. And a lot of times the first time you're smoking it's kind of rushed. So it depends on if you have the time.
Well, that would be the case with my original black market experience. I'd been so pleased with the run Alec Bradley was on that I couldn't wait for the black market.
Yeah.
So I was probably judging it unfairly at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I've had 2 in the last week, and I'll smoke it again.
Do you know what sizes you had?
I had Toro.
Okay. I've had, I went through the gambit. I got the Toro and the Robusto, and I've had them for about 6 months now, and I tend to lean towards the Robusto on that a little more than the Toro, because I think the Toro gets a little bitter at the end. There's a little too much. I don't know if it's just because where the leaf is or whatever, but at the end of it get pretty spicy.
Okay.
So I'd say try the Robusto if you haven't tried one of those in a while. You might be a little more happy with the experience. That's personal preference, though, and that's the thing about cigars. What's so cool is that it's all really personal preference. It's what your tastes are, what you like, and I can experience a cigar completely different than you can experience a cigar. And
there's no wrong opinion of a cigar.
No, there really isn't.
It's you'll have people tell you there is, but for the most part, if you like it, you like it.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, you don't.
Very true. True story. But I'm having a problem with that wrapper because I cut it.
You had too much. Cut too much.
I don't think I did though. I only cut to the first line on the, and it's still coming up.
Okay.
But it is what it is.
Well, mine, as far as that goes, is fine.
Yeah.
I've kind of wet-lipped it a little more than I usually do.
Did it wrong. I cut it wrong. Noob.
Brandon actually doesn't know cigars. He's just pulling.
At all.
Not at all.
No. I mean, I'll tell you a little bit about my experience. I smoked cigars 18 years ago, and I was the guy that would go out with friends and chill out, and we'd go hit the B&M. And B&M is short for brick and mortar. If you don't know, I don't want to hit everybody with a bunch of abbreviations, acronyms, Right. So we go to the B&M and pick up a cigar, hang out, smoke it, and that was really the extent of it. I would, Macanudo Portofinos, we talked about that previously.
Right.
And I wasn't really into learning about what I liked and figuring out what I liked. It was kind of a lemming in that respect. I'd go, oh, what are you guys getting? Okay, I'll get that. I'll try it. Yeah, that's cool. And I would smoke what I had, and that was it. I didn't get into getting the humidors and the whole RH thing and the research and everything. But this is back in the, 80s or whatever when it was just that information wasn't really out there. But and that's what's been so great about getting into it recently is there's so much more information out there for people that are getting into cigars. There's so many different options now. It just really is amazing how much the industry has advanced in the amount of time between when I smoked previously and now.
Right.
And now I'm going full bore into it. I mean, I've got, I went from a 25 count humidor to a 50 count humidor to a 100 count humidor to now I've got a, cooler full of cigars. So, and, my tastes have ranged from, I'll be honest, when I first started, I was smoking really mild stuff and even some infused stuff like acids and, Javas and tobacco specials and all that stuff. And then I moved into the Alec Bradleys and the Rockies and just kind of never looked back after that. So I've run the gambit, and my flavor profiles now tend to lean towards the, I like a lot of Nicaraguan and Dominican stuff. I like the cocoa and the spice and the, the chocolatey flavors and those type of things. And that's why I was kind of excited to try this because it was something new for me, for sure.
So what's your initial Candela opinion? Not of the cigar, but of Candela.
Yeah, I dig it. It's something different. I mean, this is definitely a mild. For me, for my flavor profile, it's definitely a mild cigar. I'd say mild to medium. I could see smoking it in the morning, as an early day cigar.
Yeah. I mean,
summer. It's a summer cigar.
Okay.
Maybe
a little late summer evening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my background is similar to Brandon's, and at this, over the years, I could kick myself for the way I handled my cigar experiences at the beginning. Much the same way. Someone gave me a Macanudo, I smoked it, I liked the experience. I don't know if I liked the cigar. I liked the experience. And the gentleman who gave me this Macanudo told me Macanudo is the best line around, so I figured he knew, so I just assumed it was.
Yeah.
So, and I was maybe a one-a-week smoker. Started moving on. After about 6 months, I was 2 times a week, and then I'd just smoke on the weekends and progressed into it every day. But still, I started in 97, 98, and it wasn't until 04, 05 that I really started giving a damn as to what it is I'm smoking. And that was with the Rocky 92. I think that was the first cigar that I smoked where I realized, there are reasons to pay attention to what you're smoking, and why that never crossed my mind. Obviously, it didn't cross your mind either at that
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
And I'm sure a lot of you have had that same opinion or circumstance and experience. But I see it here at the store all the time. There are people that hit the ground running, and they want to know, and they learn, and they figure it out in a few short months. And it takes people like Matt and myself and the other Randy that works here at the store to educate the customers. And a lot of tobacco stores do not do that.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about going to a brick and mortar store that you don't get with the online experience, because I know a lot of people buy cigars online because they're so inexpensive, but we'll get into that later. But when you go into a brick and mortar store, you're getting a load of experience. You're getting a staff that is going to take the time. Well, if you go to a good one,
right?
To ask questions like, hey, what are you smoking right now? And you tell them I'm smoking this. So what are you interested in? And they'll figure out your flavor profiles and direct you towards something good. And that's one of the reasons I come here all the time. This is really my favorite B&M. Not blowing smoke there, pun intended, but
right.
Because
blowing smoke, but not
right this minute. Yeah,
right.
I've got my yapper flapping, but this place was one of those places where they seemed to care. It's like they would recommend something and it'd be spot on. It's like, try this if you haven't had it yet, and boom, it was awesome. So you keep going to those places. You keep going back to those places that take care of you, and you start a relationship with them, and it's just it's a whole experience.
I used to hate going to brick and mortars. I rarely shopped online. I did from time to time, but I didn't like going into brick and mortars because I was never treated properly in one. I always felt like I was interrupting the party. There was a clique, and who is this new guy? What's he want?
Yeah.
And you'd ask for help, and pretty much, well, what do you want? Or a rock guitar, they're over there. And that's not to give all B&Ms a bad name by any means, but it took me a while to find the right stores to go to. And this happened to be one of them before I started working here. And so when you're out trying to experience the brick and mortar experience, look for that. Look for people that will explain the cigar to you, that'll try to understand your palate. That's the most important thing you can do.
Yeah.
And, don't read the cigar magazines, that's fine, but don't just take their word for it and their opinion for it. Check around with the people that deal with it every day, that deal with multiple cigars every day. A brick and mortar is going to carry hundreds of lines of cigars.
Yeah.
And they've probably smoked 70, 80% of them. So trust their opinion. Look for the ones that really care. And I think you'll really enjoy your brick and mortar experience.
A lot more.
Yeah, a lot more.
I agree. And it's, that's one of the things you just don't get buying cigars online.
Right.
Because you're basically buying based on price. And a lot of times, I've made this mistake in the past when I was new getting into it. Because I was working, and that's kind of these guys at work got me back into cigars again, because they were always talking about cigars, and I'm in between them. I'm like, oh, cigars, man, I used to smoke cigars, that's awesome. And they were buying all this stuff online.
Right.
And 90% of it was garbage, because they were just going off the marketing.
Right.
It's like, this cigar is going to taste like, nutmeg and cinnamon. And they're like, oh, awesome. And they'd buy it, it'd be crap,
Right.
So
Right.
you can't really trust the advertising that's out there. You really have to kind of come into the brick and mortar store, work with the guys, figure stuff out you like, and then, later if you want to get into that, that's fine. But that's experience you're going to get going to a store is just, is essential to developing your palate,
Right.
and becoming a good cigar smoker. I think, personally,
No doubt. I think if you all give it the chance, that you'll see that we're correct on this one.
Yeah, for sure. And I've got a story about the whole brick and mortar social club thing. I did my due diligence here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're in Richardson over here, by the way, and this is really close to my work. So it was, there's about 3 of them in the area, and this one was like, ball out the park. Everybody carried here. Everybody, lend a hand and really helped me. And a couple others were like very much the, club where you go in there and the guy's like, it's there, and brr, and just bark at you and get the hell out.
Let me check
are you gonna
out,
are you gonna get a club membership? No, okay, well they didn't want to talk to you,
Right,
so
right.
And I went into this one, and this is I went in with a friend of mine who was getting into cigars. I had already moved out of the acid line and into like Rocky Patel's and Alec Bradley's, and he was new to it, so I was telling him, I'd given him a couple of tobacco specials.
Right.
He wanted to go buy some of those. So we went into this brick and mortar, and he's we're looking at the tobacco specials, and the guy walks over, is like, what are you looking at that? What are you looking at that for? We're like, well, I want to try them on a couple of these. Oh, well, you're just missing out on the best tobacco in the world. You got to smoke a Don Pepin, classic 1979 or whatever. And I'm like, okay, man, I'll look at that, but let's get up something. Yeah, that's what we came here for. You're going to talk me out of buying something at your store,
Right.
So I bit into it and bought the cigar that he told me to buy, and this was maybe 3 months into smoking cigars, and that cigar kicked my butt. It was just all pepper and just spice, and it was like one of the first cigars I felt like I was going to puke when I smoked it, because it just didn't. And that's a good way to get someone out of the out of cigars.
Absolutely.
So that was just a wrong experience, So, and I've been back there since then, and it's pretty much the same place. There's other B&Ms I go to other than that one, because those guys are just very staunch about what they believe in, and you have to go their way or you're not cool, and
Yeah. And that's, the cigar clicks can get old. But it's important to utilize the socialization of the B&M. Invite your buddies to it.
Mm-hmm.
Come hang out. If they have alcohol, get a beer, get a whiskey or scotch or bourbon or whatever.
Yeah.
And enjoy the experience with your friends. And I think sometimes that'll break down the click wall that you'll experience sometimes in the B&Ms, because they'll say, oh, these people are cool. They're talking. They're in here all the time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that'll help you appreciate the B&M even more.
So
What do you think? We're getting closer to
getting
halfway.
close to we're getting up to finishing the first third here, and it's getting a little more medium body to me. It's not as mild as it was when I started. I'm picking up a little more of the grassiness.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm not getting the flavor I was getting at the beginning. The flavor has changed.
It definitely has changed.
And maybe it is getting a little bolder.
Yeah.
Still not enough to form a full opinion of it yet, but I'm enjoying my experience so far.
Yeah, me too. All right, so we're going to take a little break after the first third here and come back, and we'll get into the second third with you and cover that.
See you then.
All right, everybody, we're back for the second third of the Alec Bradley Black Market Filthy Hooligan.
Filthy Hooligan.
Filthy
Something
Hooligan.
you know something about, right?
Yeah, because I'm British.
Yeah.
I don't know about British things, or Irish, I guess, would be the case.
Irish, yes, absolutely.
What do you think so far?
I could recommend it.
Yeah.
See how it finishes.
For the fans of the Candelas, or just a regular Joe wants something a little
Somebody
mild?
that I know that likes to be adventurous, likes to try new things, I would recommend it to them. A Candela fan, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend it too. Someone who likes a mild cigar and would like to know what all the wrappers taste like, that would like to experience a Candela, then I think.
Yep, I can see that.
Someone like you up to 30 minutes ago.
Exactly.
Well, my burn corrected itself, but now it's off again.
Yeah, mine's still doing all right. It's not, it's not a razor sharp burn line, but it's got a little jaggy to it, but it's not too bad.
I'm curious what this would taste like with age. Of course, we probably won't get to find out.
Well, I'm going to pick up
one and ages it. But,
I'll pick up a 3-pack. You guys got that special in the 3-pack.
Yeah, we have a 3-pack special. They're $8 a piece for these Toros, which is a 6x50. But we're selling 3 of them for $20, $20.40.
Yep.
So it's a heck of a deal. They're not going to last at that rate. So feel free to contact Calypso Cigar Shop in Richardson, Texas.
Yep. pick up a 3-pack or more. I'm going to pick up a 3-pack when I leave. I'll probably smoke one in a month, see what it's like, and then give them some age, let them sit for, probably till next year. Who knows? Because I've got other Candelas to smoke as well. I've got a Fuente and a Illusion and a.
The Fuente, is it the curly head?
No.
Someone's asking about the curly head Fuente and Candela. I hadn't seen or heard of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a couple of Candelas out there that are pretty highly rated. I think it's just one of those things that I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, "Oh, Candelas, they're my favorite." But it's.
We actually had a gentleman a couple of years ago who would come in, and I think he bought us out of our Don Tomas Candela, and that's all he would buy. That was all he would smoke. But that's the exception to the rule.
There you go. There's someone who thinks they're freaking awesome and loves them. And that's the thing with cigars. It's all personal taste, and what I may like, you may not like, and vice versa. So
it's mellow on spice, but there is flavor.
There is flavor. I actually got a little bit of a nuttiness to it, kind of a underlying, lingers on the palate kind of nuttiness. That I don't remember ever really getting with the standard black market, so I don't know if that has to do with the wrapper and the binder, but
puts off a lot of smoke. The smokes well in that regard. It's once again, great draw. It's not incredibly dense.
No, I'm not feeling any voids in there or anything.
But
like that.
but it's certainly not loose. Well balanced cigar, I think, as far as the construction.
I got a little split too. Yep, but it's just all kinds of messed up.
Newbie.
That's not my fault. Come on.
That's a newbie.
No, it's not my fault.
Yeah, you probably stuck your fingernail in it or something and ripped it.
I'm not squeezing it.
See, mine's a little veinier than yours, actually, if you look at it.
Yeah, it's got that one. Well, it almost looks like it's a pseudo box press. Like there's a slight weirdness to. I don't know if it was because maybe they were packed wet or whatever, but
could be. Well, they wanted to get it out before.
Yeah, they want to hit that St. Patrick's Day market for sure. But I'm not, not as grassy and hay as I was expecting. Hay. That's a word. I'm making it up.
That's
right
a good
now.
word.
It's a great word. It's not as nice. Hay-ish. Is that? Hay,
maybe.
Hay related? I don't know.
Hay-like.
Hay-like. Not as hay-like. That still sounds weird.
Still
Hay's just a weird word. It's just one of those words.
You can't utilize the word hay in a proper
I'm not getting the hay and the grassiness.
To add an adjective or an adverb to the end of hay, it's not.
It's not as it's not as much heinous. That just sounds like heinous.
Heinous.
It's not as heinous as I thought it would be. But no, I mean, I dig it. It's definitely different. I don't really get the if the interior of this is the same as the black market, that wrapper really changes the flavor.
I was thinking the same thing. It's just not. I'm not saying it is, but it does not taste like the black market.
Like the standard black market at all.
No.
But that just tells you how much the wrapper and the binder make a difference. Because I've read stuff that says that's where majority of the flavor from the cigar comes from is the wrapper and the binder.
Right.
So
exactly.
It's the filler is just the filler, and it's all about that wrapper and the binder.
Especially the proportion of wrapper to binder or to filler is a huge diff.
Well, that's why you get into like smaller cigars. There's that misconception when you get into the larger ring gauges. Well, larger ring gauge, more flavor. Not necessarily. It's less flavor because you got so much more filler.
But you get a lot of smoke, so you get a lot of smoke flavor. But if you really want the wrapper, which is the aged tobacco, the most finely aged tobacco on the cigar, the Tempest is a perfect example. The small ring gauge in a Tempest is just loaded with flavor.
Yeah, it's a flavor bomb, the Tempest with the smaller ring gauges. And I've been on a kind of a Corona kick lately. Not only because of the weather, it gets cold, you want something that's a little smaller to smoke, but man, in doing that, in finding the smaller smokes, there's so much more flavor in a lot of those blends when you get into that size versus the larger ring gauge.
Right.
So very few people can do a large ring gauge cigar and really pack it with a lot of flavor.
Yeah. Prince Otto would be an exception. Tempest, obviously. A lot of the Illusionis that are bigger ring gauge have the good flavor too.
I think it really depends on who blends it and what they blend it for.
Right.
I talked to get a little bit off subject on the Alec Bradley, but I was at an event and I met Willie Herrera, who's now
Name dropper. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Who's now with Drew Estate, and he was pushing the Herrera Esteli, which is not out yet. It's a limited release thing. But I was talking to him about, because he's the blender, and I'm like, well, so what size in this cigar do you recommend? Because you blended the thing, what's best, you know what size you blended it for. And he was like, I blended it for the Toro. I'm like, okay, well, I want to get a box. I'll get the Toro then.
Okay.
But then you got this other guy over here. He's like, oh, I've smoked them, like 5 or 6, and man, that Corona's the best. I'm like, so
The maker says.
so the maker says I should try the Toro. So I think I'm going to try the Toro, and try the Toro. The Toro's fantastic, and it's just it's a matter of what it was blended for. And the Corona's really good too. I've had the Corona since then, and it's a little stronger.
Right.
But it just depends on what you're really looking for. I think the Toro is a better balanced cigar in that particular blend. So that's what it boils down to. Is really what they blended it for.
Absolutely. Hint to Jonathan Drew if he's listening. I would love a Liga number 9 and a Corona size.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the Dirty Rat, but a real number 9 and a true Corona or even a true Lancero I just think would be incredible to try.
Yeah.
I think
the closest you're going to get to that, unfortunately, is that short filler. What's it called? The
Papas
Fritas.
Yeah, that's the closest you're going to get.
That's pretty darn close to a Corona 9 because it's the 9 and the 52 trimmings, and it's pretty good for a short filler. I think it's a little overpriced, but that's they've got that Unico line and they've got that price point and they get it, so it is what it is there.
How great would a Rocky 92 be in a Corona? Wouldn't it be awesome if they did that in a Corona?
Yeah, we talked about the Rocky 92 earlier, and that was really my first. That was the cigar I fell in love with when I started smoking again.
Me too.
Because I got past the acids and past the Gurkhas, and it really did stair step me into the more traditional tobacco.
Yeah, and if you think we're putting off a negative vibe on the flavored stuff, the acid, the
No, I still smoke
anything,
it. I still smoke it.
They have their place, and
Yeah.
they're excellent. The construction on the cigars are excellent.
Yeah.
We've seen how Jonathan Drew's pretty much revolutionized the cigar world
Yeah.
with those cigars. So when we say that we've moved on from them, it's certainly not a negative.
No. When I say this,
thing.
basically what I mean on that is that I stopped. I was buying, acids by the bundle. I was buying, all the tobaccos. I bought a box of Tobacco Especial Negra because I just loved that cigar. It was like my daily, smoke it with some coffee. Dark coffee is great, and it's still a great cigar. I still have some. I still smoke them. I keep them in a separate humidor, and But I just, I think as your palate develops and you taste some other stuff, you start to really find out. Okay, well that's good. But my thing with the infused stuff is that it's a definitive flavor, but it's that flavor all the way through. Especially with the acids, when you get an acid, you start an acid, the first third and the last third are the exact same, because you basically infused that tobacco and it's all going to be the same.
Exactly.
So there really is no complexity to it.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll get a little, depending on how you're smoking, it might get a little spicier at the end because you might be smoking it fast or whatever, because you don't taste the tobacco as much. But there's really no true complexity to an infused cigar. And if anybody thinks differently, definitely post a comment or whatever on that, and I'll try it. Hey, but
I didn't want to interrupt your Rocky 92 story, but go ahead.
So but that's what I think about that. But yeah, so for me, the Rocky 92 was the first one that I got handed to me that I was like, oh, okay, so this is what this reminds me of what I was smoking 18 years ago. This is the true tobacco, and I got a lot of changes in it. It was like a journey. It was like the beginning, middle, and end were completely different. It tasted, I was getting a little spiciness at the front with a little bit of leather, and then I got slight citrus in the middle. It was just something. Well, I was like, wow, this is what a cigar is supposed to taste like. This is awesome, So after that, I just kind of fell off the deep end and started trying a bunch of other different stuff. And I think it's cyclical too. It depends on what you're in the mood for, and that's the great thing about cigars is it's all about where you are. It's like if I'm in a certain mood, I want something that's got some flavor to it. That I'm not going to have to worry about putting an effort into figuring out what it is. Then I'll grab a Tobacco Special still on occasion, and that'll be my go-to smoke when I'm on the run or doing something in the morning with a coffee. I don't have to finish the whole thing, no big deal. But and I hate not finishing cigars, but I occasionally do it. It just depends.
Well,
but
I've done that at one point or another.
But
back to the Tobacco Especial Negra. I've substituted that instead of coffee when I play golf. If I'm playing golf, instead of drinking coffee and then running the risk of getting caught short out there on the course, I get the coffee flavor and I'm smoking a cigar at the same time. So, so I still will smoke that if I'm playing golf, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a good smoke. I like those. They're still very tasty to me.
And I had a Java Latte not too long ago, and 6-7 months ago. Another really good infused smoke.
Yeah, it's a Rocky Patel Drew Estate
combination.
combined thing.
Yeah.
Getting two giants
So-
and working together, and those, you know,
I like it
Rocky,
when that happens. I like it when they get together and work like that.
that's one of the cool things about that. You don't see that in other industries. You don't have, Hilfiger going, hey Levi's, let's make something together.
Yeah, Ralph Lauren and Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah, you don't see that happening at all.
Right.
But you got these cigar guys just going, hey, I got something. What do you think about that? Yeah, let's try it. Whatever. Make something together.
Yeah,
and
or
ends up-
I have this idea for a cigar, but I don't want to make it. Will you make it for us? And there you go.
Hey, you got like so many different companies that blend their stuff at, like you got Tatuaje stuff being made at the Don Pepin factory,
Right.
and
Alec
so-
Bradley, Viaje,
Yeah.
Luciani at Racy's Cabanas. So,
Exactly. Yeah, it's just a really open industry, and they all work really well together. And I'm sure there's definitely competition, but it's just I think if globally, if business was like that, it'd probably be in a lot better place
Right.
economically.
I think so. Okay, coming past the halfway point, I got a little spice the last couple of puffs. Got a little spice.
Yeah, me too. I got a serious burn issue though. Look at that.
Hey, yours was burning great, and mine's fine.
Yeah, now mine went south.
And mine's doing fine.
But yeah, I'm digging it, man.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having a couple of these in the humidor and trying one a little bit later.
Yeah. That would be a nice experiment.
And I'm looking forward to trying some of the other candelas that I've had sitting there and staring me in the face and just going, they're green! It's green!
Yeah, it is. I could see where it's a little off-putting to just look at it.
It's like it's not done yet. It's like, do
Right.
I put it outside and let it sit? And
It's like, you go to the grocery store and the bananas are green.
Yeah.
It'll wait a little while.
Yeah.
It'll turn yellow.
And those taste weird, but this tastes good.
Yeah.
I like it. It is completely different, though, than the standard black market, which is really not what I was expecting. I was expecting the strength of a black market with the, subtlety of the Candela wrapper. And it did really change the cigar.
Yeah, it did, without a doubt.
So I'd say, it'd be even good to recommend this to someone who doesn't necessarily like the black market. Say, well, you're not a big fan of the black market, try this anyway. It's something different, and
Right.
maybe you'll end up liking this. Guess what? It's limited edition. You better buy a box. Yeah.
Soon.
Mm-hmm.
Before they run out.
Only 2,000. What's in the box? 24?
That is a good question.
I think it's 24 in a
I
box.
think it is 24.
Doesn't say on the little info we have here, but
But it comes in the same, exact same box that the black market comes in, only it's green.
yep.
It has that really unusual latch on it that if you're not careful, so for the people, this is a public service announcement for people who buy black market, buy the box. Be careful when you open it. It has a little latch you have to undo before you lift the flap, because if you don't, you'll bend the crap out of the flap. And yeah, so if keeping your box's integrity is important to you, look for the little latch before you open your box of black market.
I like those boxes. Those are cool looking boxes.
They're cool. The Candela one is obviously green, and it has the shamrock on it. And of course, the traditional is more rustic looking. And,
Yeah. Traditional one looks like it's, munitions or something.
yeah, it could be that. Yeah.
I've been waiting for you guys to pop one of those boxes in there so I could grab it. The original.
Oh, the black market?
You had the
We don't
black
have them
market
yet?
ones. I haven't seen them down there.
They go pretty quickly when we put them in there. Well, since this is a limited edition, why don't you address some of the limited editions you've had in the past that you liked, that you wish had not been a limited edition?
Oh man, I'm a kind of a Drew Estate whore.
Right.
If you can't tell, I like a lot of the line that they do. And I had a BOTL, which was made for online community called the brothersoftheleaf.org. It's a forum, and the last couple of years they've actually had someone blend a cigar for them, and it was sold on an online retailer only, very limited edition. It was a Lancero, and it hit right at the right time when I was like, I'm really getting into Lanceros. I had L40 and loved it, and I just really wanted to try some other Lanceros, and man, that cigar that just knocked it out the park. And I'm like, damn it, I only bought 5, and they're gone. So it was just that. I ended up even like sending a couple of them out to some friends, and I'm like, damn it.
Right.
It's nice to send people a gift, but at the same time, you're like, I smoked them all. They're gone.
Send the gifts of things you can readily purchase, not with the limited edition.
Yeah, but it's nice when you send them something limited.
It is.
It's
It's
like,
cool.
oh man, that's
Booze
awesome,
and cigars
thanks.
are the most enjoyable things to share.
Yeah, and I love that about the cigar community. I don't know. I mean, do you spend any time on any of the forums at all or anything?
I haven't. I'm more of a voyeur of the forums. I'm never really chime in. I find a lot of blowhards on the forums.
Yeah, it depends on the
and they can get under my skin, and I know if I posted, then I'd start a
flame war,
a chat war.
Yeah,
and I didn't. So I just try to stay out of that.
I had that experience too on a couple of them because you got to, there's some forums there's the good old boys club where you got people that there's really, huge forum with say, thousands of members, but there's really 12 guys that post.
Right.
And those 12 guys, you go in there and try and be funny, and they're going to jump all over you like, white on rice.
Or you'll find and that this is any group of cigar, but like you'll find the Puente guys, and that's all they want to talk about is Puente, and you try to bring up something else. No. Or you find the Alec Bradley guy. And that's all I want to talk to Alec Bradley, and you try to post something else, and that I try to stay away from that. The ones that I really enjoy are the ones where it really feels like what we're doing, only on the internet.
Yeah,
and
I found a really good forum. It's called Stogie Friends, and it's built under the guise of Facebook, so it's like Facebook for cigar smokers.
All right.
So it has a lot of the same structure. You can post on the wall. It has a chat room. It has a lot of the same type of things that you have. And those guys in there are just like super friendly. It's a great forum, and there's a lot of killer information there. And, and that's really why I got into the forums. Was I did the lurking thing for a while too, where I just got in there and was really just reading information because there's always a wealth of information. There's reviews. There's for new cigar smokers, this is what you need to know about how to season your humidor and how to take care of the cooler door, and all this information is just at your fingertips. And these guys are full of that information, full of a lot of crap too, but a ton of great guys out there. So that is kind of like my second home. It's like my home away from home. I go there, I hang out with these guys, and they actually do something kind of unique. They do what's called video herfing, which herf, if you don't know the term, is when guys get together and smoke cigars. They call it herf. They're gonna herf it up. And they get on Google Plus, and they'll get like 10 guys in a room, and girls. There's girls in there too, and they'll smoke cigars together. And it's a great way to actually put a face to a name, and you get to meet all these people, and you'll end up finding out there's a bunch of people that are local to you, and then you got more cigar buddies. So it's really cool.
It sounds like a neat forum. You were telling me about that a couple weeks ago, and it sounds pretty. I might have to check that out sometime.
Yeah, Stogie Friends is cool.
I still have an antiquated laptop that does not have webcams, so I can't really enjoy it.
But even just the forum side of it is really good. There's a ton of information there. They have general cigar discussions where you just talk about, hey, what's new? Check out this cigar that's coming out. They have sections where there's deals like, hey, check out this deal, and they have sections where it's a little off-putting when you first get in there because you're like trying to figure it out. Like, what the heck is this going on here? I don't understand this at all.
Right.
It's good, definitely good information, and a ton of it's there. A ton of guys do really, really good reviews there as well. So great community to check out if you haven't.
Another vehicle for getting together with guys and smoking is cigar events at brick and mortars. Yeah, most of them try to do one a month. We don't do quite that many, but we do 8 to 10 a year, and it's just a great bonding experience. You get to see some of the people that you might have passed in the humidor but never actually stopped to speak with, and just sit around. Generally it's one vendor that is premiering a cigar or just showing their line, and so a lot of people are smoking the same cigar, so you can really compare notes with your cigar colleagues. And an event is just there's always great deals at events. You get to meet the blenders sometimes. You get to meet the reps. Yeah. Sometimes you get to meet the presidents of the company, and
9 times out of 10 they're giving stuff away too.
Yeah. So. So look around for your local B&Ms and check out their event schedule.
Yep. So okay, let's get back to the cigar. Yeah. Second, third. I just got hit with a real light sweetness. Mostly on the back end of the throat, and I got it on my lips, and I don't know if it's from the wrapper or what, but it just got really kind of sweet.
I got a little on my lips. I'm not quite as far as you.
Yeah, and it's also getting a little more medium body for me as well.
Okay, all right.
So I'm getting a little pepper out of it.
Yeah, I'm getting the pepper. The pepper started a few minutes ago, but and I'm getting sweetness on the lips. I'm not getting it on the back of my throat yet. So we'll see how that goes.
But I do like the
retro on the back of your throat.
Yeah, the retro hell's awesome on. I mean, the retro hell's just so clean, and you don't really. A lot of times you retro hell, and it's like and it just stays there, and you just can't get that. It kind of mutes the flavor of the cigar the rest of the time because it gets in your nose, and you can't really taste anything else. But this one's real clean.
They're obviously not wet. I mean, this draw is amazing. It's probably have a third left. You
Yeah.
probably have a little less than a third left, and
Yeah, the draw is really good on it.
so I think they're in good shape. I don't think they rushed this cigar as much as you would think with the looming deadline they had to deal with.
I definitely think they could benefit from some age, though.
No doubt. Yeah, I agree.
I'm surprised that I'm getting a little bit of, in the second third, it seems like it's getting a little more complex. There's a little more going on.
Mm-hmm.
It was very mild in the first third, with a little bit of that grassiness, less of the spice, but it was there, but not real distinct.
Right.
But the spice is definitely hitting on the second third, and I'm getting a little bit different flavors. There's kind of almost a slight creaminess to it
Okay.
for me.
Mm-hmm.
Something different.
It's reminded me of something. Yeah, I guess it's a tad cream. It kind of has that Connecticut sensation,
Yeah,
but with some power.
yeah.
More power than
Like a
your average
new wave,
Connecticut, yeah.
like a new wave Connecticut, like
maybe.
BP.
That might be what it is I'm experiencing right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's one that surprised me. I was, not really anti Connecticut, but just hadn't really had many
Well, you've moved
Connecticut's
on.
that really,
You've moved on from
that
it.
had really wowed me.
Mm-hmm.
And that EP Carrillo New Wave Connecticut was like just something
Right.
out of left field. I wasn't expecting that at all. And
Well-
you mentioned one.
Well, yeah, I asked that limited edition question. This wasn't a limited edition. They just quit production on it. It was the Olla de Nicaragua Antonio series, but it was called the Series C because it was the 1970 Antonio cigar, but with a Connecticut wrapper. So you had creamy wrapper sensation with just full-on Olla de Nicaragua Antonio power behind it.
Wow.
Excellent smoke. And when Drew Estate took over for Olla de Nicaragua, that was the first thing they dropped. And we didn't find out about it in time, or we would have ordered a shitload of it. But we didn't know, and when we ran out, we tried to order some, and it was too late. And we've kicked ourselves ever since.
Yeah.
But that was a tragedy to lose that cigar. They've talked about bringing it back, but it hasn't.
Yeah.
The problem was they didn't market it as an Antonio. So people were expecting a nice, creamy Connecticut cigar, and tobacconists were failing in informing the customers of what the cigar was truly, what the experience was truly going to be like.
Yeah. So they were expecting a really mild cigar, and then it was just kicking them in the palate
right,
with all the tobacco.
Right, because if you haven't had the Antonio by Olla de Nicaragua, and you like full body, pick one
Yeah,
up.
those are some of my favorites. I fell into those through the cigar forums again. I had a guy that was, I posted up like a moron. Hey, I'd never tried JDNs or Olla de Nicaraguas, and he's like, oh yeah, and then boom, sent me like a 5-pack of the 17 with Antonio 1970,
yeah.
and sent me a bunch of the dark Corojos as
and
well,
that's
like
another
different
great
sizes.
in the Antonio series.
That dark Corojo, man, that was one of the few cigars I smoked, and I was like, this thing tastes awesome, and I was just like taking it in, and then as soon as I stood up, I was like, whoa, it really kind of, it kicked me with that tobacco, man.
If they said that was going to be the only cigar left on the planet, I would still smoke cigars. It would not turn me off. I could smoke that cigar.
Yeah, and that was just the first time. But
Yeah.
now I smoke that, and it's nothing. Like, I have friends that I give that to, and they're like, "Dude, this is way too strong. You're gonna kill me." And I'm like, "No, man, it's awesome.
That's good.
Just smoke it slow and take it in. It's a great cigar."
It really is.
And I love the JDN stuff. I always have at least 10 1970s and 10 Corojo, dark Corojos in my humidor at any given time.
Absolutely.
And we talked about the Corona, that dark Corona size.
Yes.
That'll get you.
Pelagrosa,
Yeah,
that's great.
that'll
And
get you.
it's under $6 too. It's a great price cigar, and it's just tasty.
Mhm.
I turned Matt onto that cigar. I'd had a couple and came in and said, we need to get this size. And he said, okay. And I think he tried the first one. He liked it, but he was kind of not paying attention to it, just smoking it as he was working.
Yeah.
A few weeks later, I noticed he was smoking another one. And I said, he'd gone on vacation. And he came back, and he was smoking one. He said, man, I fell in love with this on vacation. So I think that's his morning cigar now.
Yeah, that's a morning cigar for him? Wow.
We like to get our day started right.
I was going to say, this is morning kick in the head.
Marvin and here's my name dropping. Marvin Samuels from Drew Estate, and Ryan Polar were in, and they offered me a cigar, and it was a toast, it was a dark Corojo, Antonio, and then it was I don't remember, Chateauroux or something. So I took the dark Corojo, and both of them went, it's 11 in the morning. I know. Let's do it. I'm dragging. I need something to kick me.
Yeah, those are
kick me in
great.
the butt.
I mean, I smoke those in the morning now too, but a lot of people, that's like their, middle
End
of the day,
or
smoke. Yeah.
But Okay, I'm getting a little bit of the sweetness you were talking about on this.
The draw is just ridiculously good on this. I mean,
It does have an inconsistent. You'll have a bad burn, all of a sudden it'll fix itself.
yeah, that's
then,
right.
And
It's,
then
and mine right itself pretty well.
let's see, now mine's starting to do it again. So, oh well.
I think that's
That
just
could just be, once again,
that's just that it needs a
new.
little age. They need to
It's new.
sit in the humidor for a little bit and get right because they are right off the truck. I got excited about smoking this because it's new hotness. So got to give it a try. So talk about pairings. What do you typically pair your cigars with? Are you one of these guys that like, oh, this cigar I'm going to have a whiskey with, and this cigar I'm going to have a
what I do is I pair the whiskey with the cigar or vice versa. I like whiskey more with cigars. I mean, some cigars do go well with beer, some cigars go well with wine. But I'm of the mindset, and I've read varying views, but I'm of the mindset that I don't want the cigar or the whiskey to overpower one another. I don't want one to be more dominant than the other. I like a good blend.
yeah.
And so what I generally have found to be the case is that bourbon or a Canadian really go well with the milder Connecticut, like an Ashton Cabinet, a Rocky 99, even, like a Perdomo ESV, Connecticut. Those are really good bourbon cigars. Now, if I'm smoking a Tempest, a Prensado, a Rocky 92, an Illusione, that's a good Scotch, preferably a Highland Scotch.
Yeah.
And we could talk about this for hours, and we probably will do a show on this one
Oh
point in
yeah,
the
for
future.
sure. We'll do a pairing show
But
for sure.
but yeah, I typically like whiskey with cigars.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
I tend to be more of a whiskey guy than a Scotch guy because I don't have I haven't
bourbon-
developed my
bourbon,
pot,
yeah.
my pot. Different subject. It's green. That's why I said that. No, that was a Freudian slip, everybody.
Right.
No, but I haven't developed my my palate for the Scotches yet. I like a couple. I know a couple that I like. I know I don't lean more towards the peaty side because I think that tends to drown out the cigar. But that just that's me.
But
So-
that's where you go. That's where you get a stronger cigar with the peaty. With those
Yeah.
stronger peaties. Like Lefroy is one of my favorite Scotches, and it's very peaty. And
No, so I haven't had
you
Lefroy
smoke a Tempest with that, or
I will have to
something
try
like
that.
You'll notice the difference. You'll
I
notice
don't not
the-
like the peaty stuff. I like it on its own, but with the cigars, I guess the cigars that I've paired it with, it's just overpowered it. But I tend to go with the whiskey.
There's some cordials even that go well with cigars. Like a Drambuie. Obviously cognac and brandy have been popular forever with cigars. I've never really been a cognac or brandy person, so I don't
Yeah, I mean,
know what that's like. I haven't really experienced that. I did have a friend early in my days who would drink blackberry brandy, and he would dip the tip in the. And I hated it. I thought this was a dumb idea, even when I didn't know what was going on. And since then, it's been determined that really does alter the effect of the cigar. It's not a good thing to do. If you're a dipper, you dip your cigar in the cognac, you're really just doing a disservice to the cigar.
Yeah. But, that goes back to your overall cigar experience and how you were introduced to them. He
Right.
may have been introduced to, by someone who that's what they did.
That's what they did.
Every cigar he smoked, that was his process, and he
Right.
just took that under his wing and said, this is what I do now,
Right.
So I think it's important to branch out and try different things, and that's why it's great to be in the B&M type setting, because you see a bunch of other guys and, smoking different things and different process, and some people punch, some people cut, some people, use the match, some people go with the, it's so many different ways that you can do it.
Right. And with the cut and punch thing, I get asked all the time, what should I do? Should I cut or punch? And
Yeah.
it's really up to you.
Yeah.
I think a bigger ring gauge cigar needs to be cut. I think the airflow through the cigar is
Yeah, you can't punch a
altered
60.
by
You can't punch a 60 and expect to get anything out
You'll
of it.
get the
at all.
air through the middle, and the outside of the cigar won't burn.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I agree with that
yeah.
100%.
So if you've ever had that question, then punch smaller cigars if you wish, but bigger ring gauge cigars definitely cut.
Where do you ever use a V-cut?
I used to be a huge fan of the V-cut.
Yeah.
But I've always been a Corona guy. I mean, I'll smoke any size for the most part, except for a Gigante or something like that. But
Oh, you don't want the
Because
7x70? Come on, man.
I don't know. The exhaust pipe.
Yeah.
So I've always been a Corona guy. So the Coronas are always obviously fine to punch and everything. And so I tried a V-cut one time. Oh, I was at a bar. A gentleman gave me a cigar. I didn't have a cutter on me. he had a V-cut, and I didn't know how to use it, and he showed me how to do it, and I thought it was kind of cool, and I was getting a better draw than I was with a punch, so I thought, oh, this is the way to do it. So I probably V-cut for about a year.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it in a long time.
I haven't. I had a little cheapy V-cut, and once it started like just destroying cigars, I stopped using it. So I wouldn't mind investing in a good one.
If you can find a good one, and Cigar makes a really good one.
They do.
And you like that style, then yes. But if you're going to use a cheapy $2 V cutter, cut it once or twice, throw it away, go buy another $2 one, because after about 3 or 4 cuts, you'll destroy your cap.
Yeah.
You might as well cut it then.
Yeah. I tend to mostly grab the cutter. I've got a Cigar cutter, so that thing's just awesome, and that's my go-to. And I tend to do that. I've also got a Cigar punch, and I've used that on. The last time I used that was for a what was that one? The LFD Airbender.
Yeah.
What do they call that? The one that's the chisel.
Chisel, yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to punch through the side of that.
That's the top,
and I was I'm like, really? I'm supposed to you just okay. And,
I didn't know that for years, and I was over at a friend's house, and he was doing that, and I asked him, what are you doing? And he told me, and I said, oh, well, here. So I tried it, and if it takes some getting used to, but if you figure out how to do it, you get it's a different sensation, but I just cut it. I don't smoke a lot of chisels anyway. It's not my size that I like, but I cut it when I do smoke it.
So what's your go-to brand as far as cigars go?
Anyone who's listening to the show can probably tell I'm a big Alec Bradley guy.
Yeah. And
not just because we're smoking this, because, as I said, this would be lower on my list. But I don't know. I just think they were on a run there for a while with the Tempest, the Prensado, the Family Blend, the New York. And if you haven't had the New York, we're one of the few stores in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that carries the New York. And what that is, it's a Tempest wrapper with Prensado binder, and then a combination of Tempest Prensado fillers. And that you owe it to yourself to try that if you're an Alec Bradley guy.
I got that at an event the first time, and it was something special. It's a good cigar.
It's a good cigar.
I like it.
And the Max Traditional was great. The SCR was great. So I just think that for the most part, they were on such a good run that I just kind of jumped on the bandwagon, and I've been pretty loyal to them since. But
I even like did you ever try the Harvest 97?
I never tried that.
It's a good cigar.
I was offered one at an event, and I took something else instead. But, yeah,
that's a good cigar. I like those. And it was one of those ones that I had, I think someone sent me one. And I was like, I'll grab, I meant to grab a Family Blend, and I grabbed that instead. And I was smoking it and going, the hell, this isn't a Family Blend? I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I hadn't had one. I was like, this is damn good. So there I was trying to find them, and I think they're either not making them anymore or they're something, I don't know.
They also have a really cost-effective Connecticut. It's a double Connecticut, and it's Connecticut USA, called the Occidental Reserve. And it's very mild. I mean, it's nothing like their other lines. But if you like a good, smooth, mild cigar for $5, the Occidental Reserve is a great smoke.
I haven't had one of those. I've had the American Blend.
That's not. I like the Sun-Grown better in the American Blend than I do the Connecticut. But it's a good line also. So what's your go-to brand? Well, you said you were a Drew Estate horse.
Yeah, I mean, I went through a big Drew Estate fan, JDN. I mean, just the stuff that they offer.
Yeah.
I was a JDN guy for a long time, and I kind of moved into the more inexpensive, like the Undercrown Viva. That was I had the Undercrowns, and I was sort of a fan, and I was like, yeah, okay, I see, but maybe they need some age because they weren't quite as good as the Liga stuff. But then I had that Viva out of the box. That thing blew me away.
See, and that goes back to my
Corona
with the number 9, because the Viva is excellent.
And I think the Viva is a different. I don't know if it's just the fact that it's a Corona, but to me, it's a different blend.
We've had a lot of people tell us that they think that as well. So maybe so.
Yeah, that's still a go-to for me. I think I'm out of them now, but that's a great cigar. And I've been smoking the black markets like crazy, just because I had so many of them, and they're just at the top. I tend to go in and rotate my stock and see what I have a bunch of, and I have my cigar of the day at work when I go on lunch breaks and stuff, and that's the Bradley Black Market was one I was grabbing pretty regular.
Right.
So we're just finishing up the second third. We're going to take a little break here, and we'll get into the last third of this. We'll be right back, guys. All right, everybody, we're back. We're smoking the Alec Bradley Filthy Hooligan Black Market.
It's not really all that filthy.
No,
it's nice and clean if you look at me.
Yeah, it's actually very clean looking. I mean, the wrapper is really beautiful and minimal veining and maybe ever so slightly toothy, but other than that, it's a good looking cigar.
For a green cigar, it looks a little oily too.
Yeah. There's definitely a sheen to it.
Yeah, you don't see the oil like you would on a darker wrapper, but
No.
you can see it.
So what's your going back? We're talking about favorites and stuff. What's your favorite wrapper? I mean, are you a Maduro guy? Are you a Connecticut guy? What is your go-to?
It seems to me that there was that run of the Criollo 98 that any cigar that was made with Criollo 98, I was just jumping on. But that's a specialized wrapper. As far as the traditional wrappers, I like Corojo a lot. I like Maduro with coffee. I rarely smoke a Maduro unless it's in the morning with coffee.
Really? I like Maduros a lot.
Connecticut, if it's the right one and it's the right time of the day. If I haven't eaten yet and I'd like a cigar, then a Connecticut is good. But yeah, I really like Corojo. I like Criollo, not just the Criollo 98, but regular Criollo is good. Habanos hit and miss. There's some really good Habanos and there's some kind of boring ones.
Yeah.
But I can't really pinpoint one. If I had to, I guess I'd say Corojo.
Yeah, I like the Corojos. I had to grow into the Corojos. I wasn't real familiar with them.
Right.
And I think one of the first ones I smoked was the house blend you guys have here. And that was just I bought like a 5-pack of them, really cheap, and I smoked through those things in like 2 days.
Yeah.
This is just like a spicy little thing.
The Corojo, the Corona in that is really tasty. I'm leaving out a wrapper. There's something I'm not thinking about that I like, but I can't put my finger on it at the moment. I've never really been a great big sun-grown fan. I don't know what your thought is on sun-grown.
I'm not real big on the sun-growns either. Right. I've had, what was that one, the Perdomo?
Yeah, the
sun-grown?
Yeah, the ESV sun-grown.
Yeah.
And then I as big a fan of Rocky Patel's as I am, I'm not crazy about that sun-grown either.
Yeah. I wasn't big on that either. And I had one that had like a year on it, and I was still like,
Yeah.
It just depends.
Really. And for those of you who love the sun-grown, and we sell a lot of them, once again, it just goes back to your palate. It just doesn't register with me.
It's all personal preference. It really is. But
because we're not going to be the show that is going to make fun of you or rip your taste. We're going to endorse your tastes and give you the freedom to like what you like.
Yeah, and I'm a big proponent for having variety and smoking variety. I go through phases. I go through Maduro phases, and then I go through Corojo phases, and it just really depends.
Right.
And it's not even. I don't think you even think about it. It's just you go into your Maduro and you go, I want that. Grab that, and then realize you're halfway through. Like, oh, it's Corojo. Okay.
Yeah.
So what else do I have in Corojo? And then you smoke that for. It's kind of like a music thing, really.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's like you go through certain. Like, I'm going to listen to this band for a week, and then
Right.
it's like 2 months later you're still listening to that band.
Yeah. Or you love this band for a week, and
yeah,
a year later you hear a song. And go, God, I forgot that I liked them. I quit listening to them.
Yeah, it's very much that way with cigars.
Yeah.
Just you revisit things, that you have kind of forgotten about. Like back to the Rocky Patel 92 was my go-to for a long time, and then I kind of moved into other things, stronger blends and stuff, and got into like the Flying Feral Pig and all these things that really just were ass kickers in the JDN stuff. And I recently revisited that 92, and I'm like, damn, I forgot how good that cigar was. It just burned well, it tasted great, had a little bit of complexity to it, not necessarily a ton, but it was a good flavor all the way through, and that's consistent.
Well, yeah, you had given me one. You had told me that story, and I hadn't had one in well over a year.
Yeah.
And you gave me one on New Year's Eve, and I decided to make that the first cigar of the year for me. And yeah, it was cool. It's like hanging out on New Year's Day with an old friend.
Yeah.
It really was like that.
Yeah.
92 Churchill.
Yeah. I still have like 5 of those.
Wow.
And those got about a year on them. So that's a tasty smoke. And a lot of people, give Rocky crap for having so many blends out there that kind of almost, I guess Gurkha gets a lot of that too, for having just, too many blends, oversaturating the market. But Rocky, the guy does something right.
When he gets the right blend together, he doesn't make the blend, but he helps in the process, obviously.
And they still sell a ton. You guys, what do you guys move here the most? Do you think probably out of all
92s and 99s?
Yeah,
those sell like crazy here. But of the non-vintage stuff, that new Rocky 15th sells real well.
I like the 15th.
And that 15th is great.
Yeah, the 15th is awesome.
I wasn't a fan of the 2003.
Yeah.
But it's Cameroon.
The Cameroon.
I've never been a Cameroon
guy. I hadn't been a Cameroon fan until just recently. I had a Cameroon nub, and I wasn't a nub fan either. The nub to me was like, oh, it's an abomination. What's this? You to pay this insane amount for a smaller cigar. It's like, I didn't get it.
Right.
But a friend of mine was like, if we got 45 minutes on a lunch, this is a great size. It's gonna, you'll be able to smoke the whole thing and have a good time. And he gave me a Cameroon, and I was like, dude, this is pretty freaking good. Now I'm like wanting to go try some other Cameroons. And
I like that LFD 2000 series Cameroon. I can still smoke that.
Yeah,
it's box pressed, and I seem to be a fan of box pressed.
Yeah,
nice tasting Cameroon. Doesn't overwhelm you. It doesn't scream Cameroon when you're smoking it. But
yeah.
And no, the reason why I don't like Cameroon is my own fault. I binged on Cameroon for years. First couple of years of really smoking and knowing what the wrapper was. 80% of what I smoked was Cameroon.
Yeah.
And I just one day, the taste just hit me, and it was like, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to get past that again.
Well, how long has it been since you've had?
Well, I had a 2000 not too long ago, the LFD 2000. I've had the Rocky 03, and it's still not moving the needle for me.
Yeah.
The 2000, like I said, is good, but for the most part, I just can't get around Cameroon.
Yeah.
I've had the nub Well, I haven't had the nub Cameroon. I've had the G Cameroon.
Yeah, you should try the nub.
It
might get you.
Okay.
Might get you back there for a little bit. Yeah, I like the Habano nub as well, and the Maduro. The Maduro nub with a year on it is fantastic. It's just so chocolatey and
I know I've had all the nubs.
Smooth, and it's really good. The cane is a butt kicker. That'll get you.
It is.
And
and speaking of cane, the F Lancero.
That's
for
awesome.
The year, the new batch for this year is
such
just
a
come
good
out
cigar,
too.
and it's inexpensive. It's like what, $6?
$6.50.
Yeah,
tops.
something like that.
I mean, it's not.
I actually think I'm going to buy a box of those.
And that's a nice.
In the tubo.
Yeah, in the tubo. Yeah.
It's like a box of 10.
Yeah, and they're box of 10 for $60-something bucks.
Yeah,
That's not bad.
Forget about it. That's one you. Yeah, those are awesome. I had a friend of mine that was telling me about those, and I'm like, the first time I smoked a cane, it was probably too early in my get back to cigars.
Right.
And it put me on my butt, kind of like the JDN did,
Yeah.
and it kind of turned me off to him for a while. But I tried that cane Lancero semi-recently, probably about 3 months ago, and it was like a religious experience. I'm like, dude, this is off for the price. I mean, I kept looking at it like, I paid, like $7 for this. Like, that's awesome. We had
a customer, I guess it was 2 years ago, it was about this time of year when they come out, and he'd seen one in another shop and asked us about it, and we'd had them ordered, but they were on back order. So he told me how great, and I trust this guy's opinion. And sure enough, man, I fired one up when we got it. God, great smoke.
Yeah.
Great smoke. What do you think of the Daytona, the cane Daytona?
I haven't tried the Daytona. Well, Daytona I've had. Yeah,
Yeah.
The cane Daytona is really good. I know there's a Daytona Lancero out there,
I haven't had that.
but it's pretty hard to get. I think
Yeah.
it's like an event only thing or
Yeah.
something. But I really want to try one of those.
I like
eventually.
the 543, the kind of short Corona.
Yeah.
I don't like the Corona size in that for some reason, but I like the short Corona. It's kind of like the same size as that Peligrosa, the Dark Corojo. And it's a tasty smoke. We weren't going to carry it, and I was out of town, and I picked one up just to see. I came back and said, let's order it. And it's been a good seller for us. But that's something to try if you haven't tried it.
Yeah.
The cane Daytona.
Yeah, that's a solid smoke. I like the cane stuff. Probably a little better than some of the Oliva stuff. I like the Oliva V a lot, and the V Maduro's been good. This year's, I think, probably not as good as last year's.
I haven't tried this year's.
I think
I still need to try the Melania. I need to try the Melania.
You haven't had Melania yet?
I haven't tried the Melania.
Oh, dude, we got to do a review of that one. That might be a next. That's a beautiful smoke, man.
Is it good?
It's so good.
Yeah.
I had a couple of sizes in that, and both of them just really blew me away. The small one's really tasty.
Is it?
Yeah, that little guy's is something else. Really good smoke. I put it up there in probably my top 5 new releases for the year, easily.
Really?
It's really good, and
Okay.
I still haven't yet to really get my hands on many. I need to start buying those up.
It won, was it Cigar of the Year in Cigar Snob?
I think so, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
So going into the Cigar of the Year stuff,
Right.
have you had the
Bordeaux.
La Flor de Antilles?
Antilles. I have,
Yeah.
and I like it. Pretty mild for a Cigar of the Year, and pretty cost effective.
Pretty mild for a Pepin cigar.
Yeah,
I mean that.
right.
Don Pepin is notable for it's like Don Pepper. Everything's peppery and
Right.
bold and.
But it's a tasty smoke. It really is. And it's for the first time since the Casa Magna won that it was an actual reasonably priced cigar that won Cigar of the Year.
Yeah, I was kind of like I had one before it won, and I was like my first thought on it was wow, this is really mild for a Don Pepin cigar. It
Right.
wasn't what I expected. I was expecting that flavor blast, pepper blast, and a lot of deep tobacco flavors, and I didn't really get that at all. So I was kind of off put by it, but I had it again after that in a different size, and I want to say it was the Corona. No, it was the one. Which is the one that won, the Bellicoso?
That's a good question.
We should know that.
It wasn't a Robusto, was it?
No, we need to research that. Wow.
Yeah.
Going into it without knowledge, awesome. And I got a freaking
called-
iPad right over there.
It's called walking without a net.
Exactly.
Walking the tightrope
First
without a
episode,
net.
guys. Give us a little break. And there's going to be comments about that.
We
Get your
can't
crap
know
straight.
everything.
I don't have my iPad sitting in the corners.
I haven't even seen Cigar Aficionado's
Yeah.
list in the magazine.
It's
I've looked at it
little-
online. I haven't even.
Their list always, I almost half think they do that just to make people go, what the flipping crap?
Yeah.
Because it's, there's so many on there that, and it's my problem with their list is it's the cigar of the year, and it's supposed to be stuff that's released that year, but they got stuff in there that's like from 2011.
Like, Prince Otto won last year, and it was
Yeah.
in its third year of being out. I take umbrage with the fact that they include Cubans on it. Now I know it's an international magazine and everything, but we're here in America. We don't get to smoke these cigars.
Say it right, it's America.
America. Okay, W.
Yeah.
So it's like, why don't I read about this Cuban cigar that I'm never going to have?
Yeah.
And it kept this cigar that I've liked off the list that might have made the list. You
Yeah.
know?
I don't know. It's, and again, it goes back to it's all personal preference. Just because it's their list, it's not the list. Everybody can have their own list, and I tend to agree with some of the bloggers out there more. When they have a list of top tens, they tend to have more of a realistic. These are cigars you can get readily available. These are new releases this year. They're good releases. So it just depends. I mean, take it as you will. It's a reference tool for you to try things, and if there's some stuff on there you haven't tried, then maybe it'll make you try it. Like I hadn't had the new Romeo until after that list came out because I saw it and I was like, Romeo. I like Cuban Romeos, but I'm not real big on the Romeo and Julieta non-Cuban line. Right. So I tried one. It was a good, decent smoke. It's
their spiciest Romeo.
Yeah.
But it's still not as spicy as I like it. But it's a good smoke.
Yeah.
I was pleased to see it on the list. I was shocked actually, not because it's a bad cigar. I just wasn't expecting a Romeo to appear on a top 25 list.
Yep, for sure. What was the other one that I smoked recently here that was on that list as well? Man, it is escaping me now. Escape.
No net.
No net. I'll think of it here as we go. But I tried a few on the list, and I had a few that were sitting in my humidor that I hadn't tried, and I'm like, okay, well, it's on the list. I'll give it a whirl.
Right.
And I think, again, it's I don't know what they do when they test them if they're smoking the whole thing, if they're smoking the first third and going, that's it, next cigar, but it's all personal preference.
Well, and sometimes the reviews, you look at the review, and this is in any review magazine, not just Aficionado or Snob or anything, and you've smoked the cigar and you're reading their description and you're like, did you really smoke that cigar?
Yeah.
It was strong right from the beginning, so I'm giving it an 84.
Yeah.
Well, why?
Yeah.
Why is that enough of a reason to knock it off? Some people probably want the cigar to get going right from the beginning.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of variances in how your review is going to go based on. I mean, there's just so many varieties of things that can cause you to not like a cigar. Yeah. If you've been smoking, Hoyt and Nicaraguas for 5 days straight and your palate's just destroyed, you're not going to take something like a La Flor de Antilles and like it because it's going to be too mild for you.
Right.
You're not going to get the complexity out of it that you need. This is my first cigar today, so I wanted to make sure that I was coming into this fresh. Didn't smoke anything yesterday for that matter, just because I wanted to have a fresh palate and really get the flavor out of it.
Right.
And I don't know that a lot of guys really do that on a review. And
yeah,
again,
you wonder how many they've smoked that day.
Exactly.
How many of the 25 did they smoke that day?
Yeah, and when you got guys that are doing blogs and they're putting out like 5-6 reviews a day, it's like, well, did they smoke those 5 cigars that day, or did they? Right. That's going to give you. If you read their reviews, like the third one's like, it tastes like grass. It had no flavor. It's like, dude, that was the 4th cigar you smoked that day.
Right.
So,
and a lot of it depends, and a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of it depends on your appetite. If you've been, are you hungry?
Yeah.
If you're hungry, the cigar's going to taste different. If you're full belly, then it's going to taste different, and you're going to react to it in different ways based on that as well.
Look at the smoke on that.
Yeah,
it's like lingering on the top of the cigar.
A little chimney going on here.
That's weird. So
last
last
really
third,
down to the finish, yeah.
Last third, it
kind of mellowed out for me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the little quiet grand finale, like it's going to sleep.
Yeah. I'm definitely getting the sweetness is gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of really muted at this point.
I think I was pulling on it a little hard because I'm getting kind of a burnt flavor.
Yeah.
I think I pulled on it a little hard towards the end, trying to get caught up because you were
Blasting through it.
Yeah, you were blasting.
I'm
You were
not.
ahead of me.
Yeah, but mine's not. I mean, I'm not getting a bitterness at all.
That's it, but I passed you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the bitterness at all. It's just, it's mild up again, which,
Well, it's
surprising.
mild, but I think that burn you get on your tongue from
Yeah.
pulling too hard. I think I pulled too hard.
This one's getting a little spongy on me near the end.
Mine's just from where I've wet-lipped it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is, but I think it could just be the heat. Open it up.
The draw's getting a little less. I'm having to pull on it a little more to get any smoke out of it now. It's almost like it wants to go out of me.
Yeah, we're getting to the finger burning stage, and so it wants to keep us from burning our fingers, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a thoughtful cigar.
Like, hey guys, you should probably stop smoking now. You're done.
I
You're
get
supposed
that
to be
a
a filthy hooligan. You're supposed to be in my
Yeah,
face.
you should be ready to kick my ass. Filthy Hooligan, Alec Bradley Black Market, Candela.
What a name. Whoa, I just
A
got
mouthful.
I got a blast of grass on that last pull I did.
Did you?
Yeah. Like straight up cuttings. Yeah, I don't think I'm a fan of that. But
Yeah, the ending's a little disappointing.
I think...
Would you smoke again?
Yeah, I'd smoke it again. I'm definitely going to put it in there and give it some time to acclimate. I'm going to revisit it probably in May when we go to that event. I'll revisit one then, and then I'll let the others sit for a while.
Yeah. I have to look at it two ways, being in the retail. Would I smoke it again myself? Yeah, probably. If someone gave me one, I don't know if I'd rush out and buy one myself. If someone came in and asked me should they buy one, if they hadn't tried it, absolutely. Try it. It's worth trying.
Yeah, especially if you're an Alec Bradley fan.
Yeah.
And you haven't, smoked a whole lot of Candelas. I'm real curious to try some more Candelas now, just to see how different this is. With the Candela experience that you have, would you say, how does it rate as far as other
It's probably the
Candelas?
best Candela I've had.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but the ones I've had, one was an internet Candela, one by Rocky. One was a Macanudo, which by the time I had tried it, I had outgrown Macanudo as far as strength-wise. And then the Don Tomas is just a nice little, $3 Candela.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a ton of Candela experience, more than you, obviously, but not that much. So definitely I'd rate this as the best Candela I've had. It does make me want to try the Viaje Candela now, though.
Yeah, I've got one of those I've been sitting on, so I'm definitely going to try that sooner rather than later. Trying to nub
I
this
definitely
sucker,
think this
so-
is a beer cigar.
Yeah, I think it would go
I
pretty
think this
well
is a good beer.
with a Sam Adams or something like that.
Well, being someone who doesn't like that strong a beer, I could see Beck's or Beck's or a Heineken or something.
Yeah, Beck's would be good.
Yeah, something like that. Spotting maybe.
Yeah, I could see that as well.
And none of these people are paying us, so we're not plugging these people due to being licensed, endorsed.
And nor is Alec Bradley. We're just, this is a new cigar. We wanted to smoke it, so hey,
Yeah.
here we are smoking it for you.
We know it's a popular brand, and people have been looking forward to this cigar, and it's only been around for a couple of days, so we're quite possibly the first people to have reviewed it.
Yeah, I think quite possibly.
So remember Calypso Cigar Shop and Lounge in Richardson, Texas? You can pick up this Candela Alec Bradley new masterpiece for $8 a stick, or 3 for $20.
Yeah, a good deal for 3 of them there. Get 3, smoke one now, let the others sit. Get a little time on them in the humidor.
We only got 2 boxes, so they're going to go quick. So let us know.
For shiz.
Well, this is fun, Brandon.
Yeah, man, this is a blast. I can't wait to do it again. So we think Melanio next time, maybe?
Yeah, we'll run it by Matt. Maybe Matt will be up to snuff.
Jumping in
He
with
can
us.
jump in and let us know. what
Yeah,
he
definitely
thinks
want
of
to
it.
thank Matt again for letting us do this here and for providing the cigars. And Matt is the owner-operator of this establishment. Super nice guy, very knowledgeable. We definitely want to get him in here with us to give his 2 bits. And so hopefully we'll get him in here next time. But yeah, I'm a fan. I dig it. Last third, not so much the first and second, but I think that would be resolved with some age on it. So I'm definitely going to get some age on these and try them again.
And we will try to, if we do update a cigar, we'll try to give you a little brief update. Of
Yeah,
what we think the
I'm
second
all
time.
for that. That's one thing I never hear on podcasts is a lot of these guys will smoke it once and they'll either like it or hate it, and then you'll never hear about it again.
Right.
I think if you, especially with this, because it's right off the truck, I don't necessarily think it's gotten a fair shake. So I'd like to revisit it maybe 3 months down the road, and even if we just smoke it off the podcast and just say, hey, we tried it again, and just give you a
that's kind of what I was
update.
thinking.
Yeah. Not necessarily smoke it again on the podcast, but
right.
But I mean, it is a little getting a little bitter at the end, but at the same time, I just evened out the burn, and I'm still smoking it. So
I haven't put it down yet.
I haven't put it down yet, so I must like it.
Yeah.
It's definitely unique. I mean, the flavor profile is definitely unique because it's got something. It's just, especially if you've smoked a lot of black markets before, it is going to surprise you. It's going to be completely different than the standard black market. And, I'd almost say, I'd like to see him produce this on a full-time basis just to see how it does. I don't think Candelas are big sellers for the most part.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're very, very hit and miss. They're definitely a niche market.
Yeah. I wonder if they do well, if they do better overseas, or
I don't know. It's a good question.
to look that up for next time.
Yeah.
Or if you guys know that, feel free to chime in on the comments there. We're going to put this up on iTunes and probably on YouTube as well, so feel free to comment.
We welcome comments, even if they're critical. Just be nice. You can be critical and negative. Just be negative in a.
Just remember, it's just it's just two guys smoking a cigar, and we're giving our opinions here, and this is all opinion. And you know what they say about opinions. So.
What? What do they say?
That everybody has one.
I've just been
kind of like another body
facetious.
part. Yeah.
Like what's it? Mixed nut. What's the mixed nuts one? The Christmas one. I can't remember. Oh well, I'll remember that line next time too.
Yeah. Well.
If wishes and nuts were candies, and if wishes and I don't remember something like that. I feel like George W. when he was trying to do the "If you fool me once" story.
Yeah. Right.
You're not going to fool me again. Remember that one?
Yeah.
That was great. Fool me once.
Shame on you. Fool me twice.
Well, you're not going to do it again.
Exactly.
Great one.
So thanks everybody for your time. Hope you listened to the whole thing and hope you enjoyed it. And we'll be doing this again, hopefully on a weekly basis here. We're going to see what Matt's going to provide us with next time.
Hopefully the Melania.
Hopefully the Melania, yeah. And if you guys do smoke one of these and you want to put your opinions out there too, feel free to put it in the comments section and let us know what you thought of it.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your opinion of it.
Yep. And don't forget to place an order for these while they're here, because they won't be around long, knowing that you guys push a lot of Bradley here.
We do.
Yeah.
I think we're a top 25 store.
And, of course, you'll be telling everybody about it because it's new and fancy.
Yeah.
So, and we do have, I think they even put the deal out on Facebook there. So if you're on Facebook, like Calypso Cigar
Shop and Lounge.
Shop and Lounge. There's the rest of it that I keep messing up. You guys didn't hear it, but before I was trying to do the intro, and I was really just butchering it. It was horrible.
Maybe you can save some of these and we can have a blooper segment.
Blooper reel at the end.
Yeah.
Calypso Cigar. I don't even know what I was saying.
really want to know that one that you said.
We'll listen to it and see what I said. I don't even
I don't remember how it was.
I have no
It made no sense. I mean, he tried to cram Calypso Cigar and Shop all into one word. Or actually, in one syllable.
Yeah.
And it just didn't come out right. It was fun.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, okay, we need to do a blooper reel.
Oh, yeah, we definitely need to do a blooper reel.
So don't delete that stuff.
Now I'm getting to the point where I'm burning my fingers on this, so I'm putting this back.
It's getting real hot now.
All right, guys. Well, we do want to thank you for your time again. Check us out again next week. Hopefully, we'll do it next week. If not, then the week after. We're going to post this up on iTunes, and we'll have it up on the Calypso site as well. So thank you for your time, and it's been fun smoking with you.
See you next time.